Hey!
Hey, welcome to the Wednesday night AusComX show. I am Sizzle, and with me tonight is Morgan Quaid, and we will be interviewing or talking to us. So,
Yeah.
let's get on with the show.
Hey! All right. Let's set the internet alight. Hey, Carrie. All right. So we're going to talk about things, dude. This is the one. We get real deep, super deep.
Real deep.
Yeah. Yeah. We're going to get right into it. It's going to get dark. It's going to get broody, maybe a bit boring. We'll see how we go. All right. So I wanted to start. I'll ask you a question because you don't often get asked the question. So I will ask you a question, and I've got to stop looking there because that's where you are on my screen. But I'm going to change it here so it looks like it's where the people are. All right. So first question. I don't know if you've answered this one before. Hey, Nick. First question for you, sir. Your first comic book that you can remember purchasing yourself with your own money.
Oh, purchasing myself.
Yeah, not one that you found or that you got given or that you stumbled across. One that you bought with your own tish cash.
I don't know if I bought the show bag myself because I was a kid. I was a young kid, so if it was my own pocket money or my parents, I'm going to risk it and say that I bought the show bag.
Right.
And it was a 2000 AD. No idea what issue it was.
Oh, wow.
I still remember, I vaguely remember the stories inside it. There was one story in particular where Judge Dredd is after Vandalus. And there's two of them, and they are competing on who can do the riskiest vandalism, as in like spray painting vandalism.
Yeah.
And the kid finds out that he's competing with a robot this whole time, that it's a robot doing all the other vandalism. So yeah, I don't remember how Judge gets them, but I do remember that part. So yeah.
There we go. So it was in a show bag.
It was in a show bag for a kid. Well, I think it was a kid's show bag. I don't know. Maybe I bought like an adult show bag. I don't know.
That's pretty good for a. All right. So the question is, can you remember what it cost, the show bag?
No, not a chance in hell.
I bet if it's got a comic book in it, I bet it was one of the more expensive ones. Hey, Dave. And I'm thinking the more expensive ones are about the more expensive ones back then were about like $1.
Yeah, I was going to say that young, they're probably a whole $1. And that was probably like my week's pocket money too. So I was like, wow, I just spent a whole week on this and it was so worth it. 2000 AD. What is this 2000 AD? What's this all about?
$1 back then,
I became obsessed with it after that. I started drawing armies and characters and everything all based on Judge Dredd. Some of them were almost downright copies, but we weren't, I was a kid.
That's how you learn. That's how you got to do it. That's how you learn. Wow. Yeah, I remember when the first, I think it was the first $5 show bag kicked in, and it was at the Royal Melbourne Show. And I remember thinking, $5 Australian dollars. That, I mean, has it got gold-plated hot rods in there or something? I don't know. It was insane. Now, you got to get a second mortgage just to pay for the damn things. But anyway, enough of that business. All right, so I will ask myself the same question. Thank you, Morgan. It's an excellent question. So my first one was Chew, the first issue. First issue, or the first collected book from Image, drawn by Rob Gilroy, that I got to interview last year, which was pretty amazing. Actually talking to the artist that did the thing and saying, "Dude, you're the reason. You're the thing that got me into indie comics." Because I saw that and I thought, "Wow, if they can do this, they can do anything." So this is amazing. And then awesome. I was, and all my money was gone. Sadness. Yeah. What?
That's
no.
not
Come
fair.
on now. Come on. All right. So Dave, did you pay like an admission and that was it, and then the show bags were just part of the thing, or I don't know, did you have to grease the palm of a wizard on your way into the showground or something, or help a cow give birth to a calf or something? Yeah.
Yep. I
Indie
wish it
comics,
was where
man.
I started too.
Yeah. All right. So, have you got a question, Sizzle, before we get on with the shameless side of things? Or do you want me to just
see? My question is all about the shameless side of things. So,
all right. Well, if you've got one, let's start. Why don't you promote something and then I'll promote something?
Well, I was going to say my question was to you. Tell us.
That's a question. All right.
Tell us about the Crimson Folly.
I will tell you everything that you need to know about the Crimson Folly. Excellent plug, sir. Excellent plug. So the Crimson Folly on the Kickstarter at the moment. Wow. See, it still blows my mind that they were ever free, that anything was ever free, let alone that show bags were free. That is amazing. Yeah, times have changed.
Go, Dave.
Oh, wow. So you didn't even pay the fee. You just got in for free and then swiped the free. That's fantastic. There's something very Australian about that, Dave. All right. So what we might do is, let's see if I can use the technology. Let's see if I can do this without breaking it. I will show you first, and then I will tell you second, because the video will show pictures and such. Here we go. Bam.
That's a nice video.
I just realized that was a really quick one, though. That's like the really super quick, like it gives you 2 seconds to see what it is. But that's all right. That gives you a bit of a view. So the Folly, the Crimson Folly is a D&D inspired. Oh, look at that. Look at the timing on that. Seamless. A D&D inspired comic book. It's 56 pages. There are 15 artists involved from all over the place. And they're each doing a few pages of interior artwork. So it's a weird kind of an anthology, but not really an anthology. All this different artwork and one big story. And then the second half of the book is all portrait pieces of the characters that are in the Folly. And the Crimson Folly itself is a fantasy style tavern in the middle of this, weird fantasy world. Thanks, Jack. I wish I could take credit for that one, but I didn't build that one. But I will get one, and I will. But pretty soon I'll show you the one that I did, and you'll see that it's very different. But it's a really, really cool story, and the artwork is amazing. So those that aren't artists but are writers and have built their own comics and stuff like that, it's really hard to find good artists that stick with you, and then you got to pay the money for the artwork and all that sort of stuff. Because this was small pages of artwork, so it wasn't a huge amount. I could go to some really top tier artists and say, hey, can you just do like 3 pages? Instead of saying, can you do 20 or 30 pages? So it was easier to get artists, but then you got to pay them, which is kind of a different thing. But that is what it is, So anyway, so that's the Crimson Folly. It's very exciting. It's on the Kickstarter now, and I've got a promotion that I'm running because that's what we do these days. And it's basically any Aussie that backs this campaign will get a free digital copy of Blade in the Dark issue 1, which is another comic of mine, which has been put out through Black Caravan, that is through Scout Comics. And I will show you the thing for that. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, bam, bam.
The village burns, set to the torch by wicked men in strange masks. He has no time for grief or sorrow. The blood of his kin calls out and must be answered.
mystery and intrigue and monsters and such. Wow. Yeah. So basically, if you support the Crimson Folly, you get a free copy of that little beauty, which has some amazing artwork by an artist named Willie Roberts. Yeah, and so that's it. That's pretty much the Crimson Folly. I've got another video that I'll show you guys later because it explains a little bit more and shows some more of the artwork. But yeah, go to that address, support the Crimson Folly. If you're Australian, you'll automatically get that extra PDF copy of Blade in the Dark issue 1. Thus ends. Thank you, sir. That one I did actually do. That one was all me, except for the artwork, which is the main thing that people like and watch it for. But everything else was me as well. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, that's a pretty good idea. There's a tip for anyone running a Kickstarter campaign: free stuff, more free stuff.
Good evening, Facebook user.
So that's the Crimson Folly. So let's move to another question for you, sir.
Quickly go back to the show bags. Oh. They're essentially promotional tools, apparently. Now they're a money-making tool.
Hook the kids so that the adults. What were they?
Stuff.
Oh, okay. So they're like little. What are they called? Like little samples and stuff like that in there, so that the adults are like, oh, well, now we've got to buy you Kellogg's Fruit Loops or whatever. Do they do?
Yeah.
I don't even know. You know,
I don't know.
All that sort of stuff. All right. So I've got a question for you, Sizzle, before we move on to the next one. Your worst villain from any medium, the villain that you've just found to be just doesn't cut it. Just doesn't do it for you.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So I can quickly think of my favorite villain, but
okay.
My worst villain.
First up then, what's your favorite villain?
My favorite villain is a good guy, so it's a bit of sometimes he's a good guy, sometimes he's a villain. It all depends. Magneto. Friggin' love Magneto.
Right.
I'm obsessed with him, I think. So yeah, it's a sickness. I've got him up there, I've got him there, got him there.
You're keen on the magnetism. He's got a magnetic personality.
Yes, that's yeah. So anyway, worst. I can't look around the room because I wouldn't buy the worst one.
No.
I'd probably. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Lex Luthor. He was smart and everything, and could make a big business and all that sort of stuff. But I just never understood why he's Superman's. You get some kryptonite. Anyone could get kryptonite, surely.
Yeah.
Batman's got kryptonite, for goodness sake.
He did. Yeah, that's a fair choice. All right, that'll do. I can't think who my worst villain is, but I'm really not a fan. Now, I love Star Wars, and I love, grew up with it as a kid, all that sort of stuff. Loved it. We won't talk about the some of them not being so great, but yeah, love the whole thing. But but I really, really, really struggle with the good and evil in that whole universe, and the fact that with the Mandalorian and everything else now, it's very, very different. And I get that the books are different and all the rest of it, but just the movies on their own, just the whole you're super good or you're super bad, and it's down to metachlorians and the Force and the whole, like, you're a Jedi, so you've got to use the Force, and you can't just kill people, but you're going to end up killing a ton of people. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, just pick a lane, dude. Pick a lane, or just be grey and be like, sometimes you got to kill a dude, sometimes you don't. It's all the Force, whatever. I always struggle with that. I love Darth Vader just because I grew up with the dude. Never really had a thing for the Emperor. The Emperor really was just like, what? Why? It's like a Bond villain. I hate Bond villains because it's like, dude, you already have all the money in the world. You live in this amazing sort of island resort thing with, skimpily clad women running around, and you've got all the money in the world. You have everything. Why do you need world domination? That's just problems. Why would you try to blow up? You've already won life. What do you? Just get a hobby, dude. Didn't make any sense to me. Yeah, didn't make any sense. All right. I want to show you one thing as well. So for those that are joining us, anyone that backs the Crimson Folly campaign, which is a D&D inspired comic story that takes place within a single tavern. The whole story takes place within a single tavern. Any Aussie that backs that campaign will also automatically get a copy of Blade in the Dark, free copy of that. But I'm going to show you. I haven't shown this to anyone before, I don't think. Oh, so I just showed you the main trailer for Blade in the Dark. I did up another trailer which has everything the same, except the artwork in it is the original artwork that I sent the artist that I did. And it's like little stick figures. Because originally I wanted to do just a funny little stick figure thing, and it ended up, going another way. So this is if I was doing the artwork, this is what the video would look like. Here we go.
The village burns, set to the torch by wicked men in strange masks. He has no time for grief or sorrow. The blood of his kin calls out and must be answered.
That's awesome. I love your monsters. They're the best.
Yeah, it was good fun, but not so good. I sent the stick figures to the artist, and then he sent back this amazing black and white illustration. I just thought, well, I'm not doing the artwork on this one, that's for sure, because nope.
Oh, from the US.
Look, you are watching this show, so I will say that you are in Australia for the moment. So if you back the campaign, just shoot me a message, and yeah, that's fine, buddy. You'll get the first issue of Blade in the Dark. No, Blade in the Dark. Yes, it is called Blade. I forgot the name of my own book. So yes, you'll get the first issue as well. So all good, dude. Easy done.
Am I getting private messages? I didn't know that.
There are a lot of comments. All right. Next question. You ready for the next question?
Yep.
All right, here we go. So, no, I'm not going to ask that one. You are, you get given a special power, like a comic book style magical superhero sort of power that you can only use between the hours of, basically during the dark. You can only use it during the dark.
Yep.
What power do you ask for if you're given a choice?
Well, I'm a greedy bastard, so I would go Dr. Manhattan. Just go full out there.
All the powers. All the powers.
Pretty much do whatever I want, and just hope no one kills me during the day. So yeah.
And clothes optional. You're just going to go full blue with
clothes
everything.
Optional. Just going around blue.
All right, that is a bit of a I want all the powers kind of answer. So it's a bit of a cheating answer, but that would be interesting though, because you can, like I say, you can do anything you want during the night. You can rule the universe during the night, but then during the day, so I'll say there's one caveat. All right, so you can have that power. The caveat is you have to look and appear exactly the same during the daylight hours as you do during the night.
Oh, that's just
so
Manhattan.
You are walking around. Well, what I mean is you can't just completely change your appearance. So you can't hide your identity. You have to be the same.
So I'll be bright blue during the day as well. I guess I'll work from home.
Yeah, you work from home. Do the do webinar sort of stuff, and call center work.
Sorry, my camera doesn't work.
My camera doesn't work because I'm not good with technology. And then at nighttime, I am building a new universe in my lunchbox or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
There we go. Good choice. Good choice. All right. I'm going to show one more video, and then that's me for the videos, and then we're going to move on to the other stuff. So this is the proper Crimson Folly camp, or not the proper. This is the more explanatory one about the Crimson Folly, and then I will shut up about it. Here we go.
Hey friends, Morgan Quaid here to tell you about a little project called The Crimson Folly, a D&D inspired comic anthology which takes place in a fantasy tavern called, you guessed it, The Crimson Folly. I'm working with more than a dozen artists from all over the world to bring this story to life through sequential comic artwork, intricate portrait pieces, sketches, and of course, words. My aim is to produce a combined comic story and art book. The first 40 pages will be a comic book telling the main story of the Folly and using different artists to build out each section of the story. The art book will then contain sketches and short stories relating to characters from that story. So if you're a fan of D&D, fantasy artwork, comics, or just great storytelling, you'll love the Crimson Folly. Yes, you will.
There we go. There we go.
I've got no videos to share.
Yeah, but you have stuff to talk about though. So let's talk about and I'm going to mess up the name. SYDRiS. Tell us about the first project, Sizzle.
I'm trying to figure out if you're doing that on purpose or not. He's just asked what level. Does it matter?
Any level, bud. Any level.
There we go. Cool. Okay, so the one you're trying to say was, hang on, I've got to get on the right page so I can put this up, is SYDRiS. I'm down at videos. I don't have videos on it.
Oh, fancy man.
I'm doing something different, doing something a little different. I'm not using Kickstarter. I have set up a pre-order campaign on the ComX shop. The easiest way to get to it is a little link I've made.
Sweet.
So that'll take you to the page on the shop. It's also in the menu at the shop. So if you go to the shop, then it's just their campaigns. Pretty much it is 3 stories, 3 creative teams, or in some cases, those creative teams are one person.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said cool. Sorry.
Oh, cool. Sorry, I didn't hear what you said. That's what it was.
Cool. Yeah.
I didn't hear the word. Okay, and the comic is called SYDRiS Perceptions, and each story is from the perception of a different person or from the artist, pretty much, or the creative team. So the first one is SYDRiS from Peter Wilson's point of view. Then the second one is SYDRiS from Ryan Vella's point of view. And then the third one is SYDRiS from Hayden Sparrow and Ben Sullivan's point of view.
Cool. And so is this the one, emphasizing the importance of this project with a cough. Is this the one, I think we saw some artwork on it ages ago with the room, like the Sizzle character in the room, like Ryan Vella did a really detailed artwork.
That's that one. Yeah, I didn't share it around too much, so
right.
But yeah, that's
the cool. Last anyway,
page. That's cool. The last page of that story. But yeah, it's full of Easter eggs, big time. Yeah, so that's Ryan's story. So this is the first page from his story.
There he is.
So there's his art. There's SYDRiS flying around, getting in some trouble. He's a bit lost. He's a bit confused.
Oh.
There's a weird villain.
Nice.
I'm just going to show the first 2 pages of Ryan's.
If you want the rest, people, you're going to buy it. Get in there and buy. I heard a rumor as well. Correct me if I'm true, but I heard a rumor that if you're in Australia, it's just a flat postage cost for
no matter in Australia, flat postage rate. That's the shop. You can buy other items in the shop while you're there.
Yeah.
But they won't be posted out until the whole order is ready. So I just warn people about that.
Yeah.
So SYDRiS will be SYDRiS Perceptions. I got to keep calling it the proper name. Won't be fulfilled until early April. Just so the campaign can finish. Because the campaign finishes in the last week of March. So,
but also you mentioned Easter eggs, so it makes sense. Easter, that's what we're going for, isn't it?
Oh wow, it is too. Then? Yeah, I think it's around then.
Easter.
So sorry if the postage takes a bit long because of the public holidays. But it's
black and white
the
color
pre-launch campaign is cheaper than what it will be once it releases. So there's a 20% discount if you buy it during the pre-launch.
Cool.
That price will go back up to normal when it goes into the shop officially. So yeah, that discount is on the PDF and the physical comic.
And how many pages? And are they all black and white interiors? Or
no. There's only 8 pages of black and white, that one story. Cool. That's the middle story. So we're doing something a bit different. It'll be all color at the front and the back, and the middle 8 pages will be black and white pages.
Nice.
So just for a little bit of difference there. It'll even be on different stock paper so that it matches the black and white a bit better.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah. So, but yeah, the first story, for example, is Meeting SYDRiS. And that's Peter Wilson's story.
Nice. Oh, that's so cool. It's so cool. That's very, very cool.
A writer and an artist talking to a guy called William Steele. And they're trying to find out who's and what SYDRiS is all about because they want to write a comic about him.
There you go.
As it so happens, the comic they write is story 3.
Wow.
So this is the story they write about SYDRiS.
That's such a cool idea, dude. That's really cool.
So there's there's 2 pages from that story. So yeah, and that third story will be ongoing. So Lindsay and Wyatt, I think are their names, from the first story, who are talking and trying to find out about SYDRiS, write an ongoing story in the rest of the series because this is an ongoing book. This is not a one-off. Story issue 2 is already started, being made. So yeah,
it's very meta. It's very worlds within worlds and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. So that is SYDRiS Perceptions. So it's sort of like an anthology, sort of isn't. Yeah, I don't know how you describe it. And the tagline is different stories, different styles, one hero.
There you go. Like it. So how does that make you feel, seeing that, basically yourself in comic book form in all of these different versions? Is that, I mean, it's got to feel pretty cool, right?
Oh, very cool. Me and Kerry developed this character.
Nice.
SYDRiS. Yeah, we designed it together. There is debate over who designed which parts, but it was definitely.
Yes, I hear that. Maybe one party did more than the other. Perhaps they're thinking.
Yes. Kerry apparently did more. I don't know. My memory's shocking. I'm just going to have to agree.
You were there though. You were in the room when it happened.
I was in the room.
That's the main thing.
I'm sure I came up with a beard. Sorry, Gary. Still, So we designed him as a logo originally for the SYDRiS comic shop that we were looking into starting.
Right.
And when we did the math for that, it was like, I don't know how people run comic shops. This is crazy. So we put that aside. And a few years later, I came up with the idea for ComX, and SYDRiS became a logo for ComX.
And thus, it was... Sorry, I just have to show that. How rude indeed. How rude. Like so many women of history, just, pushed aside by the man taking credit for their work. Tell you what. There we go. Cool. Well, if you'll permit me a little side thingy, Bob, I had an interesting discussion with a really interesting guy today that I thought I would share with you and the viewers, if you're interested. So I was talking to a really nice guy named Cullen Bunn. He's a US writer. And he's written for Marvel, DC, Dark Horse, everyone, basically every major and minor publisher he's written for. He's been doing it for quite a while. It was really interesting because one of the questions I had for him is, okay, how is it different writing for a Marvel and a DC versus writing for yourself or a small indie publisher? So he's written Deadpool, he's written Aquaman, I think Spawn, the Magneto, what's he from? X-Men.
X-Men.
So that little one. So he's written a lot of the, top shelf sort of stuff. Anyway, so I spoke to him about it, and it was really interesting because he was saying that the restrictions that you have to work under in that environment, first of all, mean everything is incredibly slow. Nothing from the very first moment, everything moves incredibly slowly because there are all these gates that have to be passed and an editorial team that has to sign off on everything. And he said one of the problems is, for starters, you're not just writing your story, because they will come to you and they will say, we want you to write a story that starts here, ends here, and has these things happening in the middle, and it has to happen that way. And then while you're writing the story, you have to think, at the moment, there are currently 5 other writers writing 5 other stories for this same character, let's say Spawn. And in those universes, these things are happening. So you can't write anything that interacts with any of that stuff in a negative way, because it'll screw the storyline up for fans. So he's describing it, and I'm just thinking, that just sounds like such a restrictive, place to be trying to write in. And then the other thing was, which doesn't surprise me at all, he was saying that, he will come up with a scene. So he used X-Men as an example. He comes up for a scene of X-Men, and he knows this is the best scene ever in the history of X-Men. This thing is going to rock. People are going to love it. It's going to be shocking and amazing and wonderful. And then straight away, he says, yeah, absolutely. It sounds horrible. Straight away, he says, there's this amazing scene in my head and I cannot write it. It's just, yeah, spot on. The continuity would be. So he's already filtering himself as he's writing, because he knows, I'm not going to be able to do this amazing thing. So I have to water it down even before I send it to the first editor, because you've got to fit it in this thing. So I don't know, as comic, as writers and, artists and everything, we have this idea of, I'd love to write for Marvel or DC, or I'd love to work with one of these big ones, but you just don't realize the reality of what that would actually be like and how frustrating that would be. So from Colin's perspective, he was saying there's something so freeing about writing as an indie, or, publishing his own stuff, or something that's his property, because he can do whatever he wants with them. Yeah. The other thing, which was really interesting, is he says you start writing for someone like Magneto, and then as you're writing a run of books, you sort of fall in love with that character, and then you have to say goodbye to them, and you've got no creative control. So they could undo everything that you've done in the next run of issues. Yeah. And you might never be asked to do that again. So it's this heartbreaking thing where you're kind of like, getting involved with it, and then you're falling in love, and then you're like, so, yeah, really, really interesting talking with him. And it just made me think how much I would hate to be in that environment and to be writing for and the amazing thing about being an indie creator, the struggles are, there's money, there's trying to get publicity, that you just never take your foot off the accelerator or the gas. For our American friends, you never take your foot off the gas, because as you would know, you're running every day and working hard just to try and get an inch ahead. But you have complete creative control, and that is pretty amazing. I would hate to have that taken away. Anyway, that was lessons from Cullen Bunn, who I spoke to today. Just a great guy, really cool discussion, really interesting stuff. That was it. So anyone joining us that might not have heard, the Crimson Folly campaign on Kickstarter is a campaign I'm running at the moment. Speaking of self-promotion, any Aussie or anyone watching this that backs that campaign will not only get a copy of the Crimson Folly, a 56-page epic full-color comic with D&D inspired story that takes place inside a single fantasy tavern. They will also get a free copy of Blade in the Dark issue 1 from Scout Comics, which is another one of my book things, and you will get that for free. So just FYI. Cool. All right. Another question for you, and then we'll move on to your next property thing. All right. So I'm gonna throw you some of the questions I normally ask other people on the podcast.
Okay. Here we go.
All right. So all ink is removed from human bodies in the near future, and it's mandated that every single person has to get one tattoo that's unique to them. What is that tattoo that you get, and where do you get it on your person? Why are you looking?
I'm looking down because I'm like, I think I've already got it. But now I've got to pick one because there's a few down here on the arm.
You can only do one.
Only allowed one.
Yeah.
Eh?
Yeah. One to rule them all.
I'd probably go with the insane one, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because it sums me up perfectly.
And same spot.
See if I can show it. Is it showing up?
Yep, just twist that way a bit. Yeah, there you go. Same spot.
Same stamp. I don't know. I might go a little risky and put it on the hand.
I thought you were going to say the forehead or something.
No, not that bad.
That's risky. All right, good choice, sir. Good choice.
Thanks, Mick.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. All right, so what's the next one that you got, bud? What's the next?
Nice.
Yeah, I believe it. I totally believe it.
Okay, next thing I'm going to promote tonight, if I can go to the right button, is Stellar Lands.
Ooh,
by Max Barada
right, yeah.
and Ben Worrell, I think is pronounced, is the artist. Max is from Sydney. He works in film. I forget exactly where he works in film, but he has decided to write a comic. It's part one. This one is part one that we're releasing on Kickstarter. It's still in the pre-launch stage. I should probably go and put a link up so people can go to it. So whack in there, get notified, hit the notify button, and this will be out hopefully in the next few weeks. And yeah, and then a month from then, we'll be sending it out to everyone. So it's pretty much about an operative. That's her there. Sort of like a black ops type of thing. She's sent to a distant moon to gather some intel that has something to do with the war that ended 50 years ago. So,
yeah, the artwork on that one is really nice.
Yeah, really nice.
Real nice.
Go down here and take this down.
Good story. Super super nice artwork, that one. Really good. And good for like really suits the genre. Good for sci-fi action, that sort of stuff. Yeah, really nice. That is very cool.
Sorry, just on another screen. So that's awesome. A lot of people have read it, and we've got nothing but great reviews for it. The one in that banner was just one of many. I do have videos for it, but I couldn't find them before this, so.
All good. Well, I just shot through another video for you, bud, just for funsies, just to give the people some color and sound and light and movement and stuff, because I could pick up a guitar, but they're all the way over there, and honestly, I'm too tired, and it's too far away. Yeah, that comic was really good, and I'm really excited about the SYDRiS thing. That's really cool. SYDRiS and Sizzle and Doug in the multiverse. Very cool.
Oh, Sizzle and Doug into the multiverse. That's the other one that's at the shop.
Yeah.
That's also still at the shop. There's about 50 copies, I think, left. They're all numbered. So nice. Numbered 1 to 100. And yeah, so the earlier you buy, the slower the number you get.
Very
and
cool.
There's your video, dude.
All right, so this is another one, just because I like this this video a lot. It makes me laugh a lot. So this is a series called The Blood Below, which is only available in digital at the moment, but I'm going to potentially do a Kickstarter on it at some point because the artwork is amazing. It's really cool. It's kind of a crime/weird fiction. It goes very weird, very quickly, horror kind of thing, and it's part of a whole universe because everything's part of a universe. Anyway, I will let it speak for itself because I like it. Here we go. Bam!
Nothing unusual about a 4 a.m. call to a back alley in downtown Kenton. A young woman lying pristine and unmarked on the cold, hard ground. I get to work quickly, but there's not much to go on here. No marks of any kind, no signs of struggle, just a dead Vic in the middle of an alley. And then there's that. Dead body in a dumpster that looks like a grizzly bear has crawled its way out of his stomach.
It's my favorite one. I love it so much. It's so cool. Yeah, there's 5 issues available now. Thanks, Jack. Yeah. Willie Roberts is the artist. I work with him on a lot of stuff. His stuff is amazing, and it gets better as the series continues because things get crazy. Yeah, so it's 5 issues available. You can get the digital issues from the Crimson Folly Kickstarter campaign. It's in there as an add-on that you can get. So you can get all of those now, or you can get them from Amazon, but it's cheaper with if you get it in the campaign. So, you know, if you want it, get it from the campaign because it's a lot cheaper. And eventually, yeah, I'm going to do them as proper books because they're too good not to. And that's all credit to the artist. And the colors and everything is amazing. There's some stuff from book 4, I think. There's some stuff that comes out, and it's just. I'll tell you one thing, because it's the funnest thing. Sometimes you write a lot of stuff and you forget things that you've written, and then you go back and you reread it and you just think, oh, that's so cool, because you forget and you think, well, of course I like it because I wrote it, so I would like it. Something. So there's one scene where this detective guy and his offsider, they go down into a subway, into an old used subway, to talk to this homeless guy that's there, or who appears to be a homeless guy. He's called a watcher. But there's something sort of weird and supernatural about him. And so they go down to this guy to talk to him to get information, essentially. And then the police detective pulls out a little plastic bag, a Ziploc bag with a toe in it, just a severed toe, because that's the currency that these watchers kind of deal with. So he gives the guy the toe, and the guy gives him information. It's a whole weird thing. Anyway, that was really weird, and I just thought that's so cool. That's something I would like to read, and it makes sense because that's in my book. That makes sense. Anyway, it made me very happy. That one. Yeah. So that's that one. All right. What have you got for us, Sizzle?
I found a video while we were uploading your video.
Sweet. Video's
the right one. Hopefully, this is the right one.
Stellar Lands.
Yeah. So much fun. And I've already read it, so now I'm just looking forward to issue 2, which is really bad.
Yeah, you gotta wait.
On issue 1.
Yeah, that's it. Sweet. All right.
So the other thing, that was the video for the first thing I was talking about. The other thing I wanted to talk about was a friend of the show, if I'm remembering the order correctly. Yes, I am. A good friend of the show, Dushan Silva, is running a pre-launch campaign as well at the moment. And this is a little teaser for it, and I'll put up the right banner for it. Liza Ray, who I keep calling Liza Ray, and I've got to stop doing that. It's Liza Ray, Shane. Liza. So yeah, she's a badass chick, and she's a mutant, and there's some sort of conspiracy thing going on.
Yeah,
and,
I remember. Hang on.
Yep. Yeah, there's some sort of conspiracy thing going on. They're tracking her down. She doesn't know why. And this is issue 2. So if you read issue 1, you definitely want to get onto this. If you didn't, I believe issue 1 is available in this Kickstarter, so you can get both at the same time. So that's
Sword and stabbing.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of action, a lot of nasty sword business.
Yes, sword business. Like you can't see it, but up the top there, that lady's missing an arm, and it's still holding onto the sword over on a little bit higher up the picture. So there's a lot of violence. It's definitely not for kids, this one.
No, not unless you want to mess them up.
No, yeah, exactly. So yes, that's that one.
Sweet.
And I'm just navigating the different tabs.
The many clickings.
Many clickings.
All right, so my final question for you. The question is, which one do I ask? Okay, so yeah, why not? You have to pass on one toy from your childhood to future generations of children, and only one. What is that toy that you pass on?
Too easy.
Oh,
Optimus
wow.
Prime. That's my most prized toy.
I think you've said that before. I think I already knew that. Yeah, that was too easy. All right, I'm going to have to give you another one then, because that one you had that down ready to go. All right. Okay. This one's a bit harder. All right. What's a fictional death that has really impacted you, either from when you were a child or
also
last week?
Also an easy one, sorry to say.
All right.
I know the one that affected me the most was the horse and that dude in
Aslan?
Yeah, on Never Ending Story. That stuffed me up. That was like, no, get out, get out. And then he doesn't get out. It's like, what the hell?
Yeah, the Swamp of Eternal Sorrow or whatever the heck it was.
Yeah, whatever it was. Yeah, it was horrible, horrible. That
was pretty bad. Yeah, I think that got me as well. That was a good choice. Man, see, these things normally stump people, but you're right on it. All right, this one I'll get you. You have to invent a new color. What is it and why? There you go. We're done with the easy ones. Let's just go straight to the hard one.
Throw the hard one at me. Yeah, invent a new color.
Yeah.
See, I just want to invent purple. Can I invent purple?
Can you invent a thing that already exists?
Yeah, no. Can I invent purple? Okay, well,
and you can't just call it like Schnurple or something, like, and that be a thing.
Something purplish. Purplish.
It can be purplish. Yeah.
Maybe a purple that's outside the human spectrum that can only be seen by certain devices. How's that?
Ultraviolet, maybe, or yeah. All right. So you clearly you like things that exist too much to try and invent something different.
Yeah, we'll go with that. We'll go with that
one. All right. Okay, well that's pretty much me done. But I'll show the main video one more time when we're ready. But that's all my talking's done for tonight. Do you have any more?
I've still got a talking point.
You go for it.
I will bring up that is the address of the ComX shop.
Yeah.
And this is the picture you'll see when you go to the ComX shop. Online Australian indie goodness. It used to only post to Australia, so anyone international watching this, it now posts to the rest of the world. It links up to Australia Post and works out the postage according to the weights of the items that you buy.
Sweet.
So unlike a Kickstarter where you got to kind of guess the postage, this will actually work out the postage according to Australian Post. So the only other thing I wanted to talk about tonight was about another show that we run on Friday nights.
Yeah.
And I'll take down that banner for the shop. And then we'll put up this picture. This week, Friday night, we have Sherlock Holmes as our theme. So start drawing now. Send it in. Actually, I'll put the email up as the thing here if I've got it. Yes, I do. That's where you send your pictures. art@comx.studio. So whether you draw it tonight, you draw it tomorrow, just send it in straight away. You don't have to send it in on the night. We'll show it on the night, but you can send it in anytime you want before then. You've got until 9 o'clock Friday night to send it in. After that, it'll probably be a bit late for us to show it. So yes,
Sherlock Holmes. That's an interesting
Sherlock Holmes, and our special guest, of course, is Chris. So yeah.
Yeah. There we go.
I'll say his
Yeah,
last name, but I'll probably stuff it up, so I won't. I'm talking to him tomorrow to find out exactly how to say it.
Sweet. Yeah, I won't give it a guess either. That's going to be an interesting one. Yeah, Sherlock is not usual comic fodder, so that's pretty.
No, well, the rules are pop culture, so it can go all over the shop what people pick, except they just seem to pick comic stuff.
Well, I'm looking forward to when we, pick a really standout figure like the Ronald McDonald or, the Hamburglar, something we can all get behind.
I don't think they've got a lot of history to talk about.
No, they're not great. Nice.
All
right. Well,
play your video.
I'll play one more time. So this is the rapid fire one. You have to pay attention because it'll go quick, but it's very exciting. And there are many things happening. Gwoosh. The Crimson Folly.
The Crimson Folly looks like a gun when you shadow it out.
Do you know why? Because that was totally intentional. Nope, not at all. Well, there are a few guns in the book. A couple of dwarven characters have flintlock style pistolas. So yeah, you do get about that. I don't know why that's a cool thing, but that's a cool thing. So it's in there. Yeah, everything's in there. There's also. So I haven't revealed much about this, but there's also, if I get enough backers, which is a big if, but if we get enough backers, there's another story, and it's basically a story between a kobold and a mouse kind of creature, like two little creatures, and it's an adventure story that takes place underneath the floorboards of the Crimson Folly. So you've got this story happening at the top with all this adventure and stuff and drama and everything, and then below it's like a whole different story in black and white with these two little critters kind of going on an adventure of their own. So if we get to a certain point, everyone that backs the Crimson Folly gets the digital version of that. If I get really high up, then anyone that has a print reward gets a print version of that in addition to the 56-page comic for the Crimson Folly. And that's the last word I will say on it for tonight, but I'll be talking to everyone about it for the next month. And that's me done.
Cool. Well, all I've got to say is SYDRiS also, each issue of SYDRiS Perceptions will have a pinup. And I can show you the pinup for the first one.
Ooh.
Neil Blandon. How cool is that?
That is really cool. That is so cool. That is, and I love the curly moustache.
Yes. So that was a bit of fun. So yeah, throwing that in for a bit of fun. So, but each one will have one, and I'm getting different people to do each issue. So
sweet. All right, that's this was an interesting, cool show. A couple of questions, lots of videos, bit of action. Support the Crimson Folly now and join all your friends. Jokes. Go and buy yourself SYDRiS and just buy everything in the ComX shop while you're at it.
Yeah, while you're there, just buy everything.
Flat postage, that's a winner. There we go. Yep. It's been a pleasure, sir. It's been good just chatting with you. Nice and cruisy. Yep. No stress.
And I'm trying to get to the right page for this. Thank you very much, Morgan. And I guess that's our show. So thank you, everyone who joined us. We did it.
We did it.
We did a show interviewing ourselves. Woo!
Yay! Thanks,
Although
everyone.
it's really you interviewing me, but whatever.
Also, I learned a lot about show bags from the olden times, so that was pretty cool.
I agree, Peter. Buy everything.
Yeah.
I went to the wrong page again. Okay, try it again. See you, everyone. Have a good night. Remember to like and subscribe to the channel and the video. That would be awesome. And see you next week with Shaden. And I believe she's interviewing Yana, whose last name I forgot. So
excellent.
Yeah, good detail, Shane. You should write this shit down. Good night, all.
See you guys.
See yous.
Bye-bye.
Check out ComX.cx for all things ComX and find out what ComX is all about. We hope you enjoyed the show.